So let's discuss the Republican tax plan and how popular it is. Look at this Gallup poll. Independents, Democrats, not on board with GOP tax plan. Majority of independents, 56%, join 87% of Democrats in opposing tax plan, while 70% of Republicans approve of the plan, 16% disapprove. And here's my favorite number. That means that overall, 29% of Americans approve the proposed tax changes. Just 29%. Listen, we're at the point now with Trump and these Republicans that if they propose a piece of legislation that cracks 30% favorability, that's good for them. Their ideas across the board are so universally despised that if they get like 32% of people agreeing with something that they do, it's like, whoa, look at these guys, Mr. Popular over here. I mean, the tax plan, 12% in one poll, 17% in another poll. Same thing with the healthcare plan. I was talking about the first iteration of the tax plan was that low. Same thing with the healthcare plan. It was that low. Trump care. Well, now we have this new version of the tax plan. 29% of Americans approve. Listen, the worst one of all, when the Republicans, every Republican voted for it, Trump signed it. It was a bill that gutted internet privacy rights. Now, when you put your information into a website, the website used to need your permission to give your information to a third party, to a different website. Now, they got rid of that protection. Any website can do whatever they want with your information. Only 6% of Americans supported that. Republicans passed it. Trump signed it. It's just amazing how they're totally unmoored and they don't care. They don't care. They're only going to do the bidding of corporations, and they don't give a shit what your response is or how angry you are about it. Look at Ajit Pai and what's happening right now. You know, they're going to get rid of net neutrality. They're going to get rid of net neutrality. Everybody knows it. We're sitting here. They've flooded, the phone system, his email, just everybody saying, no, fuck you, don't do this. And they're still poised to do it. It's unreal, man. They're like the pirate party. That's what they are. They just fucking rob you and they don't give a shit. So we decided over at Justice Democrats that, listen, when the numbers are so overwhelmingly on our side, on the side of the people, and it's the people versus the government, not the government representing you, that, okay, well, we should have representatives who are letting that be known and who are unapologetically fighting on this front. So we came up with this idea, basically called the 60% rule. And what that means is Democrats need to pledge to not vote for any Republican tax plan that doesn't include these three provisions that 60% or more of Americans agree with. So those are net neutrality, the DREAM Act, and no cuts to Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. So let me read you this from the Justice Democrats website. 60% of Americans support net neutrality, yet the FCC is hell-bent on dismantling the free and open internet. 84% of Democrats and 60% of Republicans support the DREAM Act, but Republicans are refusing to pass the DREAM Act. Over 90% of Democrats and about 80% of Republicans want to maintain or increase funding for Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. But Bernie's amendment to the Republican tax bill to ensure no cuts to these programs was voted down. So here's what we are calling on Democratic politicians in Washington to do. They must promise to not vote for any tax bill that doesn't include these three things: the DREAM Act, protecting net neutrality, and protecting Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. And listen, this is, we're being almost overly kind in only asking for these things. What we're saying is, hey, these things that 60% or more of the American people agree on. These things that there is a democratic will in the country that the government represent the people on these issues. All we're saying is Democrats grow a fucking spine and say, under no circumstances will I vote for a bill that doesn't include a protection for net neutrality, the DREAM Act, and protection for Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Under no circumstances will I vote for a bill that doesn't include those three things. Because guess what? This is the Republicans owning it. That's what this is. This is the Republicans saying, yes, we are the ones who are fucking over the American people and, you know, taking a pickaxe directly through the heart of everything that they hold dear. So, okay, let them own it. Let them own it. If you're a Democratic politician, say, under no circumstances will I vote for a tax bill that doesn't protect the DREAM Act, net neutrality, and Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. So I'm going to ask you guys to sign a petition on this because it's very important. Listen, this worked with Medicare for All. It was like 50 Congress people who supported Medicare for All. After our petition and all the pressure we put on them, now it's like 120. So, I mean, we more than doubled the number of Democratic Congress people who said, yeah, I'm in favor of Medicare for All. More than doubled it. So your pressure works. Well, now we need to pressure them to say, under no circumstances will you vote for a tax bill that doesn't protect net neutrality, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and the DREAM Act. So I'm going to ask you to sign this petition, justicedemocrats.com/AmericansAgree. justicedemocrats.com/AmericansAgree. Sign that petition so that Democrats have a fucking spine. Listen, they're not going to have a spine on their own. We need to force them to have a spine. There are maybe some Democrats that have a spine on their own, but it certainly ain't the majority of elected Democrats. So we need to force those Democrats to realize something. We're not fucking around here. Because the Democrats' problem, one of the main problems of the Democrats has always been, well, bipartisanship, you know, hey, let's find middle ground. But then the Republicans will go as far right as humanly possible and then demand the Democrats meet them in the middle. And then the Democrats are like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go meet you in the middle. But if they just ran as far right as possible and then demand that you meet them in the middle, then the middle is just right-wing now, and you're just doing right-wing policies. And that's what happened. I mean, look at Obamacare. Obamacare was originally a Heritage Foundation plan. I mean, that was originally Mitt Romney's plan, Bob Dole's plan. I mean, we're talking about right-wing think tanks that like the idea of an individual mandate system. Obama caved all the way to doing their plan. This is the problem with the Democrats. They don't draw any red lines and go, this is it. This is it. You want any of our votes, you have to do these things. Oh, and by the way, over 60% of Americans agree with these things. So if you don't include them, then you have to go out there and explain to the American people why you're against them, why you're not doing their bidding, even though that's your fucking job to do the bidding of the American people. So this is not difficult. We need every Democrat to say, under no circumstances will I vote for a bill that doesn't protect net neutrality, doesn't pass the DREAM Act, protect the DREAM Act, and doesn't protect Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. So let's do it, man. The Democrats aren't going to have a spine on their own, so we're going to make them have a spine.